So we're here today with Shannon Boucher, Registrar of Voters for Santa Clara County, who's going to walk us through the final stretch here. Thanks for being with us, Shannon.
Oh, thanks for coming out so we can share more voting information with our community.
Fantastic. So before we get going, a word about the face coverings. Often we do not wear them on Facebook Live to better facilitate understanding. Also, because it is a public spot, you may be hearing some background noise during the broadcast. So last time we checked in, it was the first week of the month. The vote by mail ballots had just gone out, and you had just opened your doors to live voting. There was a line at the door that day, and since then, I'm sure you've seen more and more people come in. Tell us a little bit about what you have seen since then and what's going on right now.
Sure. I'm so happy we have had such a huge increase in early voting. I mean, we are at historic levels in Santa Clara County of the number of ballots that have already been returned, with over several 100,000 ballots here already. So it's been really great to see voters coming down, going ahead and casting their ballot. And as far as our office, you know, we're all working 7 days a week here as we're coming up to this home stretch of the election. And one of the things that we're doing is working on the vote by mail processing with all of these, ballots that are coming in so early. So with that, I just want to remind our voters that, the ballots will all come in. We will handle and count every single ballot. So they come in. We have 250-foot sorting machines here in our office where we sort the ballots. And at the same time, though, that you sort the envelopes, it takes an image of the outside of the envelope with the voter's signature. So we then, staff are sitting at other computers, will look at the scanned image from the envelope with the scanned image of the voter's signature that's on record, and we'll compare it. So we don't use machines or computers, we use staff will look at that themselves. So then the ballot is determined to be valid. It's sent off for a very technical term called opening and flattening, where the ballot is taken out and flattened and prepped and all ready to go into another secured room where the ballots are scanned. So it's been very busy here as we're leading up to this election.
Yeah, I took a peek behind the scenes there, and it sure is bustling back there. Now, I'm told there's also some exciting news about tomorrow. What's super special about October 31st this year?
Well, I guess we have two things for tomorrow. I mean, it's Halloween, but that's a great way to remember what's actually happening as far as our vote centers. So we're going to open 100 vote centers throughout Santa Clara County, starting on Saturday, Halloween, for 4 straight days through Election Day. And the hours of operation for, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are going to be from 9 to 5. And then on Election Day, it is 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So really excited to see the more voting opportunities open for our voters.
So these vote centers, these are the new polling places, but it's not exactly the same. Can you kind of tell people a little bit about what vote centers are? They're not all in the same locations that people might remember their polling place being in?
That's correct. And vote centers, in my eyes, provide so many more options and are better for our voters in Santa Clara County. Because last year, our Board of Supervisors authorized our county to move to the Voters' Choice Act voting model. And with that model, we implemented it in March, so some of our voters may be aware, some may be their first time experiencing it this November election. But it's a much more modern system. And the benefit is our vote centers have replaced polling places. At a polling place before, you had to go to your one assigned polling place. It was our office or that one polling place. Now, voters can still come to our office, but even better is any one of the 100 vote centers that are open throughout the county. So voters have so many more options because we're going to actually just print the ballot out for your specific residence in the language you request when you go to a vote center. So, and I want to remind voters that the list of these vote centers you can get at sccvote.org, or you can look in your vote by mail packet that we mailed to you, as there's a listing in there. So they're all going to open on Halloween.
Right. So there's a lot more services offered, I understand, at these vote centers and at polling places. It's kind of polling place on steroids is what I've heard said.
Yeah, you're correct. So as I was saying, we can print ballots out on demand. So we have a total of 14 languages that we produce voting information and or ballots in. So they can go to a vote center and get a facsimile or a regular ballot in one of those languages. And we have the new voting equipment too, with touch screen accessible machines that kind of like using an ATM with the touch screen. And voters can increase the text size. They can use an audio ballot if they want to be able to hear the ballot. There's just so many more things that we can do at these vote centers with our new equipment. So, and that does include, though, actually going to a vote center and being able to register and vote on the same day.
Tell us more about that. I mean, I know a registration deadline, the official registration deadline, passed about a week or two ago. But we're not saying you snooze, you lose, it's too late. You're saying that people can still register to vote and cast the ballot?
That is correct. So you may have heard that the voter registration deadline was October 19th, and that was correct if you wanted to have a ballot mailed to you. But it's not too late, like you said, starting on October 20th through Election Day, people can use conditional voter registration. We call it CVR. And with this conditional registration, it allows you to go to any vote center and register and vote at the same time. But the difference is they'll have you put that ballot into an envelope where you fill out your information as your registration. And then it'll come back to our office, and we will enter your registration information, and then we'll be able to count your ballot. So it, takes a little bit longer to get counted because we count those after all the vote by mail ballots, but all the ballots are counted, in the canvass period after the election. So no, it's not too late. Go to a vote center and you can register and vote.
Tell us a little bit more about this, the results and when they'll come in. You mentioned that you will be processing the ballots, and then 8 p.m. election night, you pull a trigger and boom, some results will be available. Now, what results are those that come out first thing?
Sure. When our computer system releases the election results to us at 8 p.m. on election night, what you're seeing there is our vote by mail, the early voting returns. So all the hundreds of thousands, ballots that we're going to have before Election Day, whatever we have processed and signature checked and validated are going to be able to be in the 8 p.m. election night results. So, it may, we may have everything up through the weekend or the day before. So within a day or two of Election Day would be included in those results.
And then over the course of election night, overnight, that's when you start to see kind of the results from the in-person vote center voting? Is that right?
Sure, yeah. So like I said, 8 o'clock, we release the early results we've processed up till that time. And then about every hour, on average, about every hour, we're going to be doing an update on our website. So we can keep the voters and the public and the media who are looking at our results, let them get updates as we go through election night. So this election night count at 8 o'clock is that early returns. But then as we go, we are receiving vote totals and counts from all of our vote centers. So in the past, when we had precincts and the different voting system, we had a central count location. All ballots had to come back to our office to be run through the scanners. So it took a while. So, we were here 24 hours and we, for example, in 2018, we didn't get done till about 2 in the afternoon the next day from election night results, just from the precincts. Well, now with our new, more modern system, we have vote center level tabulation. So when a voter goes to a vote center, they are going to actually put their ballot into a scanner at the vote center that will cast it and drop it into a secure bucket. And then all they have to do at the end of election night is take the cartridge out in teams of 2 and bring those back to our office, and we upload it. We were actually done in this last election in 5 hours by 1 in the morning. So, it was a dramatic increase in election night results getting done faster.
And when can we expect final results? When will we know who won?
Well, we don't call an election. The registrar of voters, when you hear reports in the media or in the news, even from election night on through the 30 days that we are counting ballots and processing, we just provide the results. We don't say who a winner is. We don't say who a loser is. We just give the numbers. Other people like to make predictions maybe of who they believe is going to win based on numbers we put out. But we will, do daily updates where we're counting. We will provide an information about how many ballots that we expect that we still have. But as I mentioned, the canvass period, we have 30 days to do the final results. That is December 3rd, because we need to count we could get 200,000 ballots election week alone. It takes time to process those. And we have audits, and we have testing, and we do manual recounts. So we have a lot of procedures, a lot of checks and balances that we need to go over all of the results and all the ballots and all the envelopes. So, I just really want to also tell voters, we count every ballot here. So whether you vote a conditional voter registration, a provisional ballot, a regular ballot, a mail-in ballot, every single one will be reviewed and processed. We never stop counting until we are done within that 30-day legal frame.
All right. It really is an understatement to say that COVID-19 has changed the way we do things, and that includes voting. But it's very important for people to still do this democratic duty, and it can be done safely. Now, being E-4, do you have a recommendation for how people should vote? Should they come and vote in person? Is there still time to vote by mail? Should they fill out their ballot, put it in an envelope, and bring it down? I mean, what do you think people should do right now?
Well, they still have several options. We have been saying the safest way to vote is to vote by mail, vote from your own residence, and return that ballot. And so a voter can return their ballot with the post office, with the postage paid envelope that we provide, so you don't have to worry about stamps. Or you can skip the post office if for any reason you're worried about that, because I've been hearing things about that in the media. Don't worry, just drop your ballot off at any one of our vote centers, which is 100 of them. You have 100 drop-offs located throughout the county. So for those 4 days, there's like 200 locations that you could go drop off your ballot. So there still a lot of options. And we still do, though, understand that there are people who want in-person voting. So it's not too late to get out and vote at the vote centers for those 4 days. But I do want to say I would recommend, if you're going to a vote center, try to go early, because, most people who tend to vote will want to come in on election day, not realizing that, we've had vote centers open for 4 days out in the community that they could have gone to. So there may be longer lines on election day. So that's all. I just want to encourage the voters that, they're going to start opening on Halloween, and you could avoid potential of longer lines on election day if you go early.
So before we let you get back into your final 4-day stretch here, is there anything else you'd like to tell Santa Clara County?
Yes, thank you. I just want to tell our voters how proud I am of you, and how proud I am that you've been sending in your votes and voting early. This isn't a historic election. 2 weeks ago, we surpassed 1 million registered voters. That is awesome. That is wonderful that you're getting out and getting registered. And now we're having early returns for historic amounts of people voting early. And I really hope my next historic moment will be that we had the highest turnout ever in Santa Clara County, but that's up to you, the voters, who need to get out and cast your vote. It is part of democracy. It is how you have your voice heard, by getting out and vote. If you don't vote, you're letting someone else make your decisions for you, right? You're not expressing how you feel through the vote. So I just, again, want to say how much I appreciate, and I am so happy and thankful that our voters in Santa Clara County have been getting out and having their voices heard for November 3rd. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Shannon, for coming down to be with us again one more time here on Facebook Live. And please thank your office staff for us for all the hard work they're doing in this historic election.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming down.
That's going to conclude this episode of Facebook Live. We do have Spanish language broadcasts on Mondays and Wednesdays, Vietnamese on Thursdays. Thanks for tuning in, and everyone stay safe out there and take care.
Okay, hi, this is KCXU 92.7 FM. It's our local radio station in San Jose. And what I am doing is going around at this event, La Dia de los Muertos, here at Conexión, to talk about voting. So my first question is always, have you voted?
Yes, I have.
And most common question is, you get the opportunity to let your community through our radio say your voice about how important voting is. So.
Voting is so important. When I was a kid, like 18, 19, I didn't believe in the system. I didn't think voting mattered or anything. But now at my age, I'm 60, and now I really truly understand how important it is to use my voice, my vote. Without a vote, I don't have a voice. So I'm really, really thinking it's so important. And I want all the young kids, all the 18, 19, 20-year-olds to understand about your voice. You know, we hit the streets, we protest, we rally, we support, we advocate, we do all those things. But if you don't vote, it's almost like a bell without a tinkle in the middle, you know? It's so important to vote. I hope everybody votes this year.
And then out of the voting, is there some issue about this year that is important to vote for those people who don't think voting matters?
Well, you know, in my community, I hear a lot of complaints about Donald Trump, and I hate to even say his name out loud, but the thing is this is one of the most important elections of our lifetime. We need to get him out of power. You know, the president of the United States, even though I'm a Native American and I'm an enrolled member of my tribe, I still live here in the United States, and the person up there in power represents me. And Donald Trump, you know, he doesn't represent me, so I need to use my voice, my vote, to get him out of office. He's a racist. You know, he's everything bad that is against the grain of who we really are as indigenous people. He doesn't respect women. He doesn't respect men. You know, he thinks that money can buy him anything, and he uses it in place of true political power. He just throws his money around instead of, you know, doing it the right way and getting the people behind him, and importantly, getting behind the people and what the needs of the people are.
All right. Thank you very much for giving your voice to our community.
No problem. Vote, vote, vote.
Thank you.